What's going on, everybody? This is Brian Mazique, aka Unique Mazique. I am the hardest working man in sports and gaming, and this is Heavy Presents I'm Just Saying with Brian Mazique. And it is my pleasure today to have an opportunity to talk to Paul Boy Green Esden. And if you did not know, he knows a thing or two about the Jets. He is the heavy on Jets beat writer. So we're going to talk some Jets today, some AFC East, and some football together. How you doing today, Paul?
I'm doing phenomenal, Brian. Thank you so much for allowing me to grace us with our presence here. This is absolutely marvelous.
I appreciate it. See, I already knew Paul was going to go. I think it's the Paul. I told him this before because he cuts the WWE promos like Paul Heyman. So I think that's, I think he's trying to turn us all into Esden guys.
Yeah. Slowly but surely,
Yeah, slowly but surely. So I got to ask you, obviously the Jets get the W on Sunday, victory over the Tennessee Titans. What was the biggest difference that you saw, if any, while watching Zach Wilson play in week 4? Because I know you heard some of the stuff I said last week. So what do you say is the biggest difference?
Really, I think Zach Wilson said it himself after the game. It was simply clicking, and it wasn't even his own touchdown. It was Michael Carter, the former North Carolina running back, getting pushed into the end zone, and then the rest of the team said, wait a second, we could score touchdowns. They hadn't done that since the season opener against the Panthers. So as soon as that happened, the rest of the room just chilled. The tension lifted, and all of a sudden, the Jets said, oh, we could just score touchdowns. No worry, no strictness, because obviously you look at the past couple of games, they got blown out by the Broncos, 26-0. It was ugly against your New England Patriots. That was disgusting, 25-6. It looked bad out there. Then all of a sudden, it clicked for Zach Wilson. He played looser. The confidence, the swagger, the it factor, all of it was electric. It bled to his teammates, and Zach Wilson had, as some people are saying out there, the best rookie quarterback performance of the season thus far.
Yeah, I think only people in New York wearing green are saying that, but it's it's okay. Like I will acknowledge this. I do feel that he obviously played a better game. Obviously, this was the best game of the season for him. But I'm gonna tell you, man, I have to say this, and this is gonna sound harsh, but it is really. I have a reason for saying this.
Let's hear it.
He has to play perhaps the dumbest brand of quarterback of any of the 5 rookie signal callers. And when I say that, I mean, he puts himself and his team in the most potentially disastrous situations of any of the rookie quarterbacks. So I actually charted, like, looking at every single throw he made in this game, right? Obviously, he made some great ones. Some plays where he kind of improvise, roll it out. Obviously, he's much better when the pocket is moving, when he's getting outside. So rolling out to the right, he finds Corey Davis down the field, who had an awesome revenge game for himself against his old team. He made a beautiful bullet of a touchdown pass to Jamison Crowder right there inside the 5-yard line. Beautiful pass. Another play deep down the field, I think it was also to Jamison Crowder. I think that one might have been in the earlier in the fourth quarter. So he made those plays. But I literally counted 7 passes. Quite a few of them were in the second quarter that could have ended disastrously. He has a really bad habit of rolling right, throwing back across his body. He has a strong tendency that I'm not seeing really subside of throwing the ball high. Now, I will acknowledge this. He had a much better second half than he had first half. The first half, I mean, there were back-to-back plays that could have ended in picks, which would have been killer interceptions. And they were passes that he just did not have to make. That was my point last week. It seems to be a struggle for him to just accept that this play is not going to be a chunk play. I don't know. I'm still seeing it.
And no question, for those who don't know, some people may not know this, Zach Wilson's middle name is actually Danger. It's Zach Danger Wilson. I mean, obviously, he flirts with that danger, and while it is both potentially disastrous, it's also, as we saw this past Sunday, potentially exciting, exhilarating. It's terrific, but also scary. Everyone's on the edge of their seat for both better and worse when they're watching Zach Wilson play. I will say a random nugget here, going to your New England Patriots. If Zach Wilson plays this kind of danger football, then Mac Jones is my grandma. He plays the most boring football I've ever seen. For instance, on Sunday Night Football, at one point or another, he completes 19 passes in a row. That's historic. And then you see him; he's got the mobility of a parked car out there, so he's not moving and grooving anywhere. But that's the thing with New England, that he's been spectacularly unspectacular, and that, for one reason or another, is somewhat interesting, especially to Chris Collinsworth on the broadcast last night.
Yes, well, you won't get in an argument for me about Mac Jones and not pushing the envelope. So, but I would say, if I had to have one of the two extremes, I would definitely prefer to have a Mac Jones, because I feel like it's a little bit easier to get a guy more comfortable with taking a few shots down the field than there is to rein in a guy who one of his biggest strengths, or perhaps his biggest strength, is also his biggest weakness. It's his arm strength. The dude knows that he can throw a softball, through a window that's not much larger than that. And one of the biggest things, and we see this in basketball, I think basketball and football are the two sports you see this the most. Sometimes the biggest problem for a really talented athlete is how many times they succeed doing the wrong thing. Because when you consistently succeed playing the wrong way, it's really hard to get that guy to stop playing the wrong way, because he's got enough of he's got enough examples. He's got enough things to draw back on. He's got enough positive references to say, I made this play. I've made this play 9 times. You might be telling me not to make this play. That's because you don't got the arm that I have. Jay Cutler was similar, because actually I'm born and raised in Chicago. I cover the Patriots. I'm born and raised in Chicago. So I've seen the gunslinger guy. And I made this comparison last week, and I know Jets fans are hoping, like, I don't know what, that I'm wrong. But I see a little Rex Grossman in Zach Wilson. Similar size, arm strength, humongous. Rex Grossman had a cannon. The problem with Rex Grossman was you got good Rex, you got bad Rex. And when you got good Rex, the Bears were really, really tough to beat. When you got bad Rex, he kept teams in the game, regardless of the fact that the Bears had a dominant run game and a really good defense. I'm hoping that we see Zach Wilson progress past that, and that he's not that kind of guy. But I'm afraid that could be a thing.
What's funny is that I have like the inverted philosophy, but it's so funny on Mac Jones, is that when I see New England, I'm like, man, he's got the training wheels on, and little Jimmy's not going to crash. He's fine. He's got the training wheels on. They're all good and dandy. But, when you go to take the training wheels off, he's like, whoa, these are safe. This is comfortable. I like these little 5-yard passes. They're fine. I don't know if I want to go wild. It reminds me of Tua as well, another quarterback that sometimes is hesitant on taking that deep shot, taking that deep next level play. And for me, I think it may be harder for a guy who's more reserved, a guy who's more conservative, to go outside the box and to make the spectacular play on the other side. So again, it's funny and fascinating. Which would you prefer? Would you prefer the slow and steady? Would you prefer the tortoise, or would you prefer the hare? The hare is going to get you a little bit more trouble, but there's a little bit more upside, a little bit more ceiling, a little bit more chutzpah, if I will, on a guy like Zach Wilson. So again, that is the constant battle of good and evil, the evil empire versus the light, and having this Luke Skywalker, a Darth Vader action going on here between the two. It is fascinating.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's it's awesome thing is we're going to get an opportunity to watch this twice a year for probably at least the next 5 to 7 years, to kind of see these two other ends of the spectrum, sort of a quarterback.